An all-new CMSTV Christian Media Spotlight is on the air. Joe Neal here with you. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you watch our program, whether on youtube.com/Christ Music Spotlight, our friends in Portland on Metro East, Channel 22 on Comcast, 33 on Verizon Fios, and for those that are home based in Olympia, Tacoma, Washington area on Channel 22 on Comcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a great guest joining us via Skype here. Her album is Another Mile. It's a follow-up to her EP, True to You. Please welcome to the show at this time for the first time, Leslie McKee. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show. The album is Another Mile. Tell us about the inspiration behind the album and how this particular record came to be.
Wow. Another Mile was a long journey, actually. We started it about 4 years ago, and life happens sometimes, and as soon as we started it, it came to a halt. And as I walked through some healing regarding some circumstances that I had been in that caused things to kind of wind down, just going through that process is kind of where the songs came from. And whether I was writing or choosing the songs, they just all were part of a healing journey for me. And ultimately one that I hope is offering a lot of hope and encouragement to others that are hurting.
For those who may not be familiar, from an artist perspective, you had an EP that was released. What is the difference in either production or songwriting perspective from producing an EP to a full-fledged, full-length album? Is there very many differences in the two?
Well, the big one's the finances it takes to do a full one versus an EP. That's a big thing. But when I did the EP, that was my first experience in the studio, and we were trying to figure out who I was as an artist. So, and also just for me as learning with songwriting, I'm still growing in that. But when I did the EP, it was mostly like my concepts for the songs, and my producer actually then took those and wrote the songs. So it was a nice collaboration with us that, just the fact that he was my producer and he was also helping write the songs, it just brought another connection to the project. The album, Another Mile, I had a lot more involvement in the co-writing with that. Worked with a writer named Luke Brown. And he was great. I'm a very melancholy person, so when I try to write, it's usually reflected in that way, just really somber. And, because I was in such a dark place in my life, that's kind of what was coming out of me when I tried to write. So to be able to work with somebody who helped turn that around and to bring out, you can go to a low place, but turn it around and shine the light into that darkness. So that was part of the difference between the two albums. The EP, we kind of experimented with a couple of genres, and it had a little more jazz and ballad kind of style to it, and this one I really felt like I identified more with just a pop and pop rock kind of thing. So I've been really happy with it in that respect. So lots of differences between the two, but
that's a good segue. So what I was gonna ask is, for those who have never heard your sound before, is the album reflective of where you see yourself going in this stage as far as an artist goes, kind of the infectious pop type of sound?
Yeah, I think it is. After the EP, I did a single. It was called What Love Looks Like. And it was part of the We Are Creative Soul compilation project. And I think in the process of recording that song, I found it. I found my niche, and just, for me, there was no turning back. I still love big ballads, the powerful things, but I don't want to get hung up there. I like the I like the energy of the songs too. So.
Leslie McKee is joining us here on an all-new CMS-TV Christian Media Spotlight. Creative Soul Records is the label who you are a part of. What's it like being a part of the Creative Soul Records family and just being a part of what they're doing?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. Eric Copeland is the founder of Creative Soul Records, and I tell you what, he is such a huge support and resource for independent artists, and he really has the artist's heart. Heart at hand. Like, I lost how I wanted to say that, but he's great at just equipping us with the things that we need. He's involved from songwriting, if need be, to setting up all the musicians and the engineers. It's just a full kind of experience with him, and it goes beyond production, to marketing and website stuff after the production is finished. So he's just a great resource, and he wants to help people reach their goals and what God has given them to do. He wants to make it happen for them. So it's a good thing. It's a good experience.
Leslie McKee is with us on an all-new CMSTV, Christian Media Spotlight, joining us via Skype. Now, what's next down the turnpike for you as far as are you going to be doing a little bit of touring in support of this new album? Is there another album you'd like to do in the works? What's the next down the road for you as we head down further towards the fall and winter?
Oh, well, there's always that desire to do more. I think once you start down this road, it is just, I don't know, it just grabs you and you want to just do more and more and more. So, yeah, I'd love to do more recording. We actually had some extra songs that we didn't use for Another Mile that I've already have tracks ready to go for. So hopefully within the next year, maybe year and a half, once I recover from Another Mile, we can maybe get an EP started. I'm not sure we'll do a project again. I really just need to get busy and start getting out there, getting the bookings and getting this music heard. It came out in April, and my family has just been on a whirlwind since then. We had 2 graduations, and my daughter got married, and planned a pretty big release concert that happened a couple weeks ago. So there hasn't been a whole lot of extra time to really to promote it and get it out there. So that's the next step.
Well, congratulations to all the milestones that's going on in your family. And I guess my next question would be too, the debut EP all the way to the full-length album, what's 1 or 2 lessons that you've learned along the way just about the whole process, from just the songwriting part of it, just to the production part of it? What are some takeaways that you've learned about this whole process along the way?
No, that's a tricky one. Let me think with that. Things that I've taken away. One big one is just really to trust the producer. He has a lot more experience, and he knows what's going to work, what's not going to work. One of the things that I continually learn is to let iron sharpen iron, and find people that are going to push you, that are going to sharpen your skills, and in that respect help you get a better, a step-up project, in quality or whatnot. And that was one thing that I kind of pushed for on the album. I wanted to branch out a little bit with some of the producers that we worked with, and to help stretch me and help me grow vocally. So I guess that would be one of the takeaways is, trust who you're working with. Know that they have your best interest at heart, but don't be afraid to speak up and voice your thoughts and opinions, and go for what it is you truly want. And trust God, ultimately provide.
Exactly.
Honestly, that is huge. I can't overlook that, but it's a huge undertaking. And whenever this album was put on hold, we really did not have the financial means to do it. But at one point, I just felt him saying, okay, it's time. So we just had to trust that it was his will, and he would make it happen. And for me, with this type of album, though it is upbeat and catchy, for me to share the music with people, it's going to expose a lot of vulnerability. And I think that's important whenever you're doing a project, is to be real and to share stories that people can relate to. So don't like, you don't want it to look like everything else that's out there. So.
Well, thank you for putting out there just the music that's relatable. Just the transparency, I think, is what people need. Just that relatability, and that's what allows listeners and viewers the ability to connect to a song, to connect with viewers. It's not something that's rehearsed. It's something that they can hold on to. It's something that they can personally relate to in the lyrics and in the song. And along the way, you've been working with a number of different producers who, I mean, the number of artists that they've worked with has been just tremendous. I've seen just the variety of producer credits that they've had. What invaluability has that experience been like to be able to lean on, to be able to learn from, knowing that they've worked with numerous different artists? Just what sort of experience has that been to you along the way in learning how this all comes together?
Yeah, well, I will. This is this is being honest. When I look at all these people that these producers and whatnot have worked with, I am just like, all right. I feel like I'm a little bit out of my league, maybe. So initially, it's a little intimidating, but these people are so humble in what they do, and they're willing to work with anybody for the most part. And so that has been great. And I guess I'll specifically maybe talk about, if it's okay,
Sure.
Talk about my experience with Tasha Smith and Keith Everett Smith, because they made a huge difference in my life as we were producing, working through the vocals for production on the album. I mentioned that I had walked through a really hard time, that it was a church community that we had a very hard experience with and left me really wounded. I have a tendency toward depression. So it kind of really triggered me and sent that darkness into my life, which I allowed. It wasn't, it was the enemy trying to take root. But I started to struggle with anxiety and self-esteem issues. And part of this road was healing. And one of the songs is called What You're Made Of. And this is one that we had obtained through Word Records, through one of their writers. And when we picked it, it had some lyrics that were challenging for me in the place that I was at emotionally. When I first recorded it vocally, I bombed. It was terrible. We didn't even know if we were going to use the song. But I worked with Tasha on this one and many other ones. And, she just spoke to my soul through things other than the vocal, the technique and artistry stuff. So in that respect, working with somebody that could minister to me and help me find the healing in the midst of the mess that I was in. I cried a lot through the song, and when we actually did the vocals like a month later, I still cried, but I got to a point where I could embrace what the lyrics were saying, and it was just very liberating for me. So I guess that would be one of my experiences with working with these producers, is just that sometimes it's about more than the music, and their hearts are there to help and encourage, in addition to helping you get to where you need to be skill-wise. So.
That's what we love about hearing some of these stories and testimonies along the way, is especially not only what we think about to the Christian music fan, but oftentimes, occasionally, a lot of times the artists themselves, they have a journey and a story and a testimony that goes along beside it, where it is more than just the music, where it's impacting people's lives in a changing, healing way. And so I think it's fabulous, the journey and just the relationships that are built and the relationships that are cultivated along the way, and how all of these things put together, and we're all working together towards one common goal. And so that's absolutely fantastic. Leslie McKee joining us for an all-new edition of CMSTV, Christian Media Spotlight. She's joining us via Skype. Now, When we talk about where viewers can find you online and find out a little bit more about you and about the album, how might they be able to do that and connect up with you?
Well, I have my website. It's just lesliemckee.com. And I'm on most of the social media outlets. So I think it's Leslie McKee Music on Facebook. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. If you just do a search for Leslie McKee Music, it'll come up. But the music can be found with links on my website, or most of the online digital stores are carrying it. So it can be found easily.
We'll definitely put the website up on screen and things of that nature. When people are listening to your album, Another Mile, when people are listening to just the lyrics and just the refreshing sound behind it, when they're done listening to it, what's the big takeaway that you want your listeners and your fans to take from this album? If there's one or two things you want them to take from it, what would that be?
Sure. The biggest thing for me actually comes from probably the song Another Mile, which is the title track. But life is hard. We come into situations that just seem overwhelming. And my hope is that these songs will just encourage people to hold on. When I was in the midst of really being down, I had someone just remind me of the story whenever Jesus walks on the water, when the disciples are out in the waters and the storm's up, and they're afraid because the waters are rough, and then they see Jesus coming and think he's a ghost. And when you think of that fear level, I can completely identify that. I would have been scared and screamed too. But his response is, "It's okay. I'm here. Don't be afraid." And I think if we can remember that it is okay. It might feel kind of hard, but he's right there in the middle of it with us. And we need to hold on. Maybe holding on is actually part of letting go, too. Letting go of the things that are just making us sink. Keeping our eyes on him and knowing that in the unknown things that he's got us. So I hope that's the big takeaway, is just encouragement to have hope. I have realized that there's things on this side of eternity that may not go the way that we pray for, that we hope for. Illnesses may not be healed here, or circumstances might not change, but we always have that hope of eternity through him as our Savior. So hope is the theme.
That's fantastic, because so many times when we go through life storms, we often lose sight of the ultimate goal, the ultimate reason of why we do what we do. And I think that's just a fantastic takeaway for people to realize, is he's never going to leave us nor forsake us, and that he is right there with us. And a lot of times, a long life's journey, if we're going to grow, requires us getting out of our comfort zone. And so it's a good reminder for people that it can be difficult, especially at first, but if you push through it, he's right there with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leslie McKee joining us here on CMSTV. Do you have a favorite scripture along the way, or a favorite character in the Bible that you find yourself identifying with quite a bit?
Well, I told you I'm a bit of a melancholy, so David is probably one that I could identify with. And boy, you know what? When you put me on the spot in front of potential viewers, I'm not going to get things word for word. But, for me, over the past couple of years, the passage where we're pressed but not crushed, persecuted, not abandoned, struck down but not destroyed, that is one that I hold on to right now.
I think you nailed it. I think you just I was running that through my head. I knew exactly what you're talking about. I think that's it.
I think there's a little more, but you got the idea.
Leslie McKee joining us here on Christian Music Spotlight, Christian Media Spotlight, I should say. After all this inaugural season under our brand new name, I still can't get it right. CMSTV, Christian Media Spotlight. Leslie McKee is joining us via Skype. We definitely invite you to check out her album that came out this past spring, Another Mile. Her EP is available as well, and definitely go check out her website. She's got a lot of good fun stuff going on, and thank you for taking some time to spend with our show and to getting viewers to know a little bit more about you and the album, and much continued success in the future as well with whatever you decide to do next in their EP down the road, and just that you continue to find just great success as an artist, and that you continue to put out a sound that's refreshing and that's able to reach a number of people that definitely need the inspiring lyrics that are out there. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thanks for having me and let me share my story. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here. Leslie McKee joining us. Definitely go visit her website. We'll put that up on the screen where you can go get Another Mile. And then True to You is the EP out as well on Creative Soul Records. We'll be back with more. We'll continue with more CMSTV right after this. Stick around. Now is our very special guest, Leslie McKee, joining us on All New CMSTV. Visit lesliemckee.com for more info on her and her music. This June, we will be at Creation Festivals Northeast for their 40th anniversary celebration. Hope you can join us. To find out more information, visit creationfest.com. All this season, sporadically throughout, we'll have creation flashbacks. Here's one of them right now from 2012 in our interview with Starry Night singer Chris August.
We will roll. Hi, everybody. Christian Music Spotlight. Joni here with you. Creation 2012 Northwest Special here right now. 7x70, Starry Night, all those other familiar radio hits you remember.
It's all of them.
His latest is with Group 1 Crew. Chris August, how are you?
I'm
Good
doing
to see
good.
you again, man.
Good to see you. I'm just, hanging out here. This is some cool weather. That's what I like.
Yes.
Thank you for letting the weather be cooler.
Yes.
I appreciate you
enjoyed a
doing
little
that.
bit of rain we had there?
Hey, I was in my hotel room. I didn't even realize it was raining.
Oh, it stopped by the time you came out. There
Exactly.
you
I came out and it stopped. I'm not saying that I caused it to stop, but that's what happened.
go. We've moved the set indoors this year. We're not outdoors
I know,
in
yeah,
front
we're
of the
outside.
tree.
I miss that tree. There's a little fake tree or a little foliage thing over there, but,
can-
that's just not the same.
No, we can't have as much fun with that.
Mm-mm.
Your latest, of course, is with Group 1 Crew. We kind of talked with them briefly, got their take
Yeah.
on the song. And so you teamed up, of course, the Group 1 Crew song, He Said, and it was a very cool song. Love it.
Yeah.
And
Thank
what was your take on kind of the song? And
Well, I just basically showed up. They had already, it's their song. I just kind of, thank you. I wrote it about this tree. No, I wasn't really in the writing part of that. I just, I got lucky enough. They asked me to sing on it, and I said, of course. I love them. I love their music. Love what they do. And so, funny enough, like when I did that, and I've known them for a while, and they're great. They're great guys and girl. Guy and girl. I just think there's a whole band that plays with them and stuff. So guys and then Blanca, but they're so amazing. And so actually, for my latest single, Center of It, I'm doing a remix. Just finished it, and Manny from Group 1 Crew came and rapped on it. And so we're going to be releasing that here pretty soon. So it'll be fun.
that is awesome. Now, last time we caught up with you were with David Crowder in his final show as a band, and you've had a chance to perform with so many different artists on tour. And do you have a favorite moment, or you just kind of just humbled by this whole experience that you've had in this journey so far here in the Christian music end of things?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's things that stick out and stuff, but I mean, as a whole, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I still look at that and think, man, for forever, David Crowder Band's like my favorite band. I mean, I own every CD, not because they gave it to me. I didn't know them. I had to buy it. I still, when they put stuff out, I buy it just because I'm a fan, and I love what they do. So yeah, to think, I got to be on that tour, their farewell tour, and got to hang out with the guys and play golf with them and just hang out. And now, we're all good friends, and to see they're all still making music and stuff like that in their own ways. And I mean, it's just that was probably one of my favorite things.
Here at Creation Fest, you've been a part of it for a number of different years now. What's your kind of favorite part about performing in front of the festival scene like this, like you do here every summer?
Well, this festival is a lot better than the other festivals. Let's just be honest here for a second, because the weather is never hot. I mean, it's actually kind of cold. I'm like, this is hilarious. I need a jacket. I mean, good thing I didn't wear my shorts. So you should have known better.
I know.
You knew better than this.
I know.
But you know. No, I mean, it's not like, just the weather feels amazing outside, and just to have that more relaxed, not like, am I going to have to go? I mean, I went to the hospital recently. I'm in the hospital a lot lately, but I went to the hospital. It's been bad, but I went to the hospital again, at another festival just from heat exhaustion. I had severe heat exhaustion and it wasn't good. Got really sick, and I don't have to worry about that here. You don't have to worry about heat exhaustion here and outside of Seattle in Enumclaw. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Enumclaw. You know, I don't know.
So that's a little bit of a side note to update our viewers. You kind of almost completely recovered from that. You had a little skateboarding mishap there.
I wish I was completely recovered from it. You know, I asked, you know, the doctor, will I ever be able to play the saxophone again? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh, good, I couldn't before. So that's going to be awesome. I'm going to be able to play it. It's just going to hit me, I guess. He has confidence, though. Now, it's going to take me about a year to fully recover from that accident. You know, it happened in late April 24th that night. Oh, it wasn't good. But, you know, and for people that know, I had a brain bleed, brain swelling, got real serious. And it's going to take about a year to fully recover. You know, there's a lot of stuff I can't do. I lost my sense of smell. That's not good. So that's just gone. Can't smell anything. So if you haven't showered, I don't know. I cannot smell you. But you know, it's you know, sometimes it's in the bad that we realize the good, you know, and I have a new album coming out on August 21st called The Upside of Down, and everyone's been like, that's the title track, like, did you write that song before or after your accident? And you wrote it before, right? And I'm like, or you wrote it after your accident. I'm like, no, I wrote it before. I'm like, that's just a straight prophecy for something bad, I guess. But, you know, and that is the upside of down, though. You know, it's sometimes in our down moments that we realize, you know, what we got, and we see, you know, people coming around us, and this music industry turning into a community. So it's pretty cool.
Beyond the music, of course, there's a lot of lessons I'm sure that God has taught you over the years about writing and performing this end of music, because you've been on both sides of it. What is kind of the main message that you want your fans and your listeners and your viewers to come away with after they attend one of your shows and watching right here about what you're all about?
Yeah, I mean, I just want people to be encouraged. You know, I obviously I'm like joking around 90% of the time, and then serious like 10%. But you know, at the end of the day, I just try to have, you know, laugh. There's nothing wrong with having a good laugh, and also just, you know, trying to encourage people to live for something greater than themselves. You know, and write songs that people can relate to. And I think when you realize that God's got a plan for us all, and just kind of live according to that, I think you'll be in good shape.
And still original Reese's and Dr. Pepper, right?
Original Reese's cups. You get that. Put that king size Reese's cups. Of 4 of those bad boys. Put them in the fridge. Get them nice and cold. Don't be afraid. Get them cold. You get a nice cold Dr. Pepper. Ooh wee. Come on now. Throw a honey bun, maybe a Slim Jim Tabasco in there. I'm just saying, these are good things.
Love it.
I'm just trying to spice up your life here.
I love it.
You're welcome.
Chris August here once again at our Creation 2012 Northwest Special. Chris, thank you again for coming on our show and blessing our viewers.
Thank you for not buying new microphones, because I wouldn't do it. Don't let them out there. Don't tell them. You like these microphones. These are funny. That's a funny looking microphone. Keep them. All right.
We're going to keep him around, I think, for a little while.
We'll
probably be back with him next year, I assume, too. So
we're going to remember this video. I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, he's going to look back to this video, make sure we got these mics still. Mm-hmm. So thank you for everything you do, man. Continued success and good stuff out there. So just keep it coming, and much continued blessings and success to you, and good health, of course, and all that fun stuff. So thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
And that was our Creation Flashback from 2012 with the one and only Chris August. For more information on this year's 40th anniversary celebration at the Agape Farm in Pennsylvania, visit their website at creationfest.com. Hope to see you there, and stay tuned for more Creation Flashbacks throughout the season as we get ready to broadcast television for the first time ever from Creation Festival Northeast. Looking forward to it. Also, special thanks on this show to Leslie McKee. Visit lesliemckee.com for more information about her and her music. That's all the time we have for this edition. Make sure you join us next time for more stories and testimonies behind your favorite personalities in Christian media right here on Christian Media Spotlight CMSTV. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Joe Neal. We'll see you back here next time. Take good care. God bless everybody.